Mind, Body, and Soul, an A&D conversation. Hosts Annette Harris and Apostle Dion Hunt are ready to bring you some exciting new content. Get ready to talk, laugh, live, and love with conversations you can interact with, shows you can plan, and news you can use. Tune in every Tuesday and Thursday at www.intellectualradio.com. Connect with us on Facebook at Mind, Body, and Soul, an A&D conversation, on Instagram at Mind, Body, Soul AD, and via email at mindbodysoulad@gmail.com.
If you need wisdom for the mind and deep down in your soul, tune in for the ride. It's mind, body, and soul. An Andy conversation. An Andy conversation.
Hey, great evening, and welcome to another wonderful broadcast. You are listening to Mind, Body, and Soul, an A&D conversation.
I'm with you.
And we are so glad that you have joined us on this evening. Now, when you come in, we want to let you know just a little housekeeping items. Want to let you know you can listen to us on a few different ways on tonight. As always, we have a Facebook Live feed going, and you will see it under Dion Hunt's name. Okay, that's what it has. I'm not disrespecting his title. It will say Dion Hunt. And we've shared it to our pages. We've also shared it to other groups. So if you wouldn't mind, when you come into the Facebook Live, please go ahead and like and share. Like and share. We would really appreciate it. And then also, we're on YouTube right now. So if you go to YouTube and you type in Intellectual Radio, you will find us there live. And then also the station's website, IntellectualRadio.com. IntellectualRadio.com. All one word, and you can listen to us there as well. So we're excited. It is a little bit after 5, maybe just a couple of minutes, and we'll be here with you until about 7 o'clock tonight. So why don't you stick with us? We have some great things in store. And how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
Are you?
Doing great. Today was a long day, but guess what? This is the highlight of my day.
Oh, that is so cool.
We're gonna make it all up.
We're gonna make it all up because you had 3 days in one day, huh?
3 days in one day.
Well, I'm glad you made it. He made it. Okay, sorry. I'm glad you're here and you didn't leave me by myself on tonight.
Never.
So thank you. And listeners, thank you for coming in. And we have, oh my goodness, just a myriad of things that we're going to be doing on tonight. And I'm so excited. I'm always excited, but we just want to infuse your mind on tonight, as you heard in the opening, with a little wisdom and some knowledge. But we want you to interact with us as well. So we're not talking to ourselves on tonight. We're not just talking to each other.
Right.
We're talking to you. It's an A&D conversation. So we want you to see your way in and to chit chat with us on tonight. So yes. Okay. Well, how about we go into current events?
Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Well, I'm going to pull up some things here. And again, thank you, Michelle Thomas, for our current events. Actually, she gave us current events for this week. So it's not just today. And some things, my goodness, I was listening on the news earlier. Was it yesterday? Okay, today is yesterday. They were raiding R. Kelly's office, or whatever you call it. I don't know if it's an office or
office, it's
home.
a state.
Yeah. And they were saying that somebody mentioned, I guess the day before they were raiding it, they saw somebody leaving that house with a computer.
Lord have mercy.
With what looked to be a computer. And I'm thinking to myself, number one, and I saw a friend of mine, Elder McGee, he had posted something on Facebook. He said, question for you guys. He said, if they're going to raid somebody's house, why would you announce it? Don't you think that they can take out whatever they want to take out of there? And
I
I'm
wonder about that.
Yeah, and then I'm looking at that story and I'm like, he had a good point. He had a very good point
I
saying
saw
that.
something on somebody posted about it. I didn't get a chance to investigate, but at one point, R. Kelly was worth over 150 million.
Whoa.
Now it's down to a little over $1 million.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Because of this scandal.
That I don't know. Maybe his lawyers, maybe he,
Wow.
living his best life or whatever. But
Right.
I just said, wow, when I saw it.
Interesting. So yeah, that was in the West Loop, his West Loop studio. So I guess they were saying something about it should not, if it was a recording studio, it should not be, looked at as a dwelling place or home or something. So I guess that's what they're trying everything.
Wow. Were you the one? Were you talking about last week how I think he has an office in Trump Tower?
No, that wasn't me. That was your other co-host. No, I'm just
Yeah, the other show that I'm on.
The other show.
He has a place in Trump Tower, and I guess some authorities were called there because they said he was holding some young ladies there against their will.
Oh,
now, when they
jeez.
got there, the ladies were like, we're in compliance. We're not being held here against our will. But someone apparently sent the authorities there. So I mean, he's going through some stuff. I saw a video that troubled me, and maybe we'll talk about it on a later date. It was R. Kelly's brother who was doing an interview, and he was talking about how he and R. Kelly experienced molestation at an early age, 5-6 years old.
Okay, so both of them
by their older sister. Yes. And
well, I heard about R. Kelly. I didn't know his brother had experienced that as well.
Yeah.
But because a lot of people were saying, not that they were excusing his behavior,
Right.
but it came from somewhere, is what people were saying, and it's very unfortunate that people experience things like this, because guess what's going to happen? They're going to react in some type of way.
Absolutely. And it just, for what that did for me is it, of course, he's a grown man and he's got to account for his actions, but it kind of put things in a different perspective for me concerning that family, and I kind of felt bad for them as a family.
Yeah, it's pretty sad because obviously things happen, but when people deal with stuff, like things in their family, whatever, a lot of people, they need to get assistance. They need to get some help.
Yeah.
Therapy or something to help, to avoid to avoid situations like this, because obviously it got out of control for him. Well, we heard that Jamie Kloss was found, that kidnapping suspect.
Yes.
Whose parents were murdered.
Yes.
We heard that this week, and it's such a joy. Like the people that in that area, and of course her family, are so elated now that she has been found. And they also said that one thing I heard yesterday and today, was that the people who found her, they were saying they don't want the reward money.
Wow.
And which is admirable, but they were like, give it to Jamie. She basically found herself because she escaped.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool,
And
really
absolutely,
nice.
I mean, seeing that her parents were murdered, by this guy, she was targeted, and that's the noble thing to do. I applaud them.
Yeah, definitely. And that's such a sad situation. Oh my God. You just never know. And this guy says that he purposely bought a shotgun to kill her parents. I'm like, well, where did this come from? He just targeted them.
Sick.
He didn't even know them though, did he?
No, he didn't know him, didn't know the girl.
But he saw her.
Mm-hmm.
Was he getting on and off a bus or something like that?
I'm not sure, but he saw her out and began following her and hatched this plan to take her for himself.
Oh God. So then you go back into his history. What was the deal with him, and how did he even get to that point? I'm sure a lot of that's going to be looked at. Let's see. A woman was ticketed for honking at an officer. Yeah, this is in Massachusetts. She says she's fighting a ticket she received for honking at a police officer. The police officer was in an unmarked SUV, which peeled out in front of her. And she says she swerved to avoid him and blared her horn. Now, how many of us would probably react? You probably will.
Yeah, I've honked at a police officer before.
Well, he was undercover, or unmarked rather, and I guess she didn't really recognize. But
why the ticket?
Well, so she says here, let me finish. She says, I had to swerve around him. Why wouldn't I get angry? Then to get pulled over and get a citation for that action is completely infuriating. She said, I didn't do anything wrong. And it says, it turns out the officer was actually pursuing another car, but wound up writing Kelly a rare noise ticket for excessive and unnecessary use of her horn. Really?
Oh, my goodness. How about he gets a ticket for abuse of authority? How about that?
Right. And then they said she found out later that he told his superiors that she gave him the middle finger. She said she did not do it, though. And this is crazy. So, I sometimes, as you're driving and you see police officers or whatever, or these, vehicles going through, they have their lights on purpose just so they can get through the light. Now that angers me. Now I don't honk at them or anything. I just shake my head like, that's a shame, because it's like they're taking advantage of, their authority just so that they can get through a light. Right. Hey, I got to wait at the light just like you. Why you have to? And then sometimes they're coming, across you or something. I'm like, that is so dangerous to me.
Yeah, I've seen scenarios or experienced it when a police officer or a police car was coming down the street and there was a red light, and just to get through that red light, they threw on their siren or their lights.
Yeah.
And as soon as they get out of that red light, then it's, everything's normal.
Right. Everything's normal.
So,
pretty sad.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be. There's some good officers out there.
Yes,
but
there are.
Some of them can be funny acting sometimes.
He's a funny acting.
That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Oh wow. Okay, let's see. Let me move on to another current event for this week. Oh, well, this is interesting. It says the FDA approves world's first device that could save thousands of preemies from common heart condition. Oh, okay. So whatever this device is, they just approved it, for life-threatening conditions for prematurely born babies. Now, this is actually probably something that's good. I have a niece that was born premature. Some of you may have experienced something like that, or knowing, people who've experienced having premature babies. So this may be something that is going to be beneficial. It says, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce this device, but it says it's the world's first medical device that can be implanted in the tiniest babies weighing as little as 2 pounds, using a minimally invasive procedure to treat patient ductus, whatever the PDA is a heart issue. So, okay, well, this is interesting. They're always evolving with medical technology. So did you hear about anything else this week in the news?
You know what? Me and Earl were talking as I came in. The 3 officers that were on trial.
Yes,
for the cover
thank
up
you.
For Laquan McDonald's death, his murder, for covering that up. They were acquitted today.
Yeah, I heard that.
And that just stinks. It stinks. So many people on so many levels were involved in that cover up, and it's obvious. When things are obvious, and and people get away with it, it's really just disheartening. So they were acquitted today.
Yeah, they were acquitted. I did hear that on the way here. Thanks for bringing that up. I think it probably digs another hole, into the family. McDonald's family, I mean.
Right.
And it's just another heartbreak that they have to deal with. Now, I believe, what's the officer name that actually shot him?
Van Dyke.
Van Dyke.
Mhm.
Okay, I believe that he's supposed to be sentenced tomorrow.
Okay.
I believe I heard that.
Okay.
So today were the other officers.
Well, I hope today's findings is not any indication on what his sentence is going to be. I mean, he needs to go down for that.
I pray to God, and I'm sure others have been praying too. I pray that that's not the case, because that would be very, very devastating. Let's see here. Now, this is quite interesting. In USA Today, doctor gave 27 near-death patients potentially fatal pain meds.
What?
An Ohio hospital says a physician ordered potentially fatal doses of pain medication for at least 27 near-death patients whose families have requested that life-saving measures be halted. Oh, okay. So it's not anything that he did like maliciously, obviously. But they fired the doctor and reported the findings of its internal investigation to authorities. We apologize for this tragedy, and we're truly sorry for the additional grief this may cause these families. Lawsuit was filed against the hospital. That's it. That's interesting. What do you think about that?
Where was that at?
This was in Ohio. Wow.
Anything dealing with pain medication or anesthesia or that really has to be regulated. And I'm sure, I'm not the expert on this. I'm sure doctors already know this, but I get a little nervous about that kind of thing, because too much can be fatal.
Yeah.
And so that's just wow.
I mean, I guess he took it upon himself because the families had requested that life-saving measures, would stop.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess he took it upon himself to do this, almost like what was that, Kevorkian?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's what that reminds me of. I mean, interesting. Well, let's see here. Let's hop over here to Facebook Live, and I want to look and acknowledge those of you that are on here. Pastor Christine Hunt, I see you. Clifford Davis, hey, how are you? LaShonda Hibbler. Oh, I can't pronounce that name. Right here. Agucha. Okay, I didn't want to mispronounce.
Prophet Agucha.
All right, thank you for watching.
Thank you, my brother.
Angela, Elder Kevin McGee, Brandy McCord, Michelle Thomas, Beatrice Carter. I see you guys on. Thanks so much for watching on tonight. Hey, if you're looking here on Facebook Live, let us know if you like this new setup. Let us know if you like the setup, the background, but then also on the screen itself.
Yeah.
Give us some hearts up, a thumbs up. I said hearts up. Hearts, yeah. Throw some hearts.
Oh, Lord. I didn't even tell you what my mind just said. Hearts up is
give
what
us
we
some
want.
Hearts up. No, just kidding. No, give us some hearts and thumbs up if you guys like the setup that we have here. We're trying to do some exciting things here. A little something, and we're going to blame him. But it's a good blame.
It's a team effort, We win together, we lose together.
Right. You get you get Apostle in there. He I think he's like a kid in the candy store sometimes.
Yes, I am.
But that's a good thing. That means he's excited. And I am too. So let's see here. Apostle, we have a hot topic that we're going to be talking about on tonight.
Yes.
Are you ready?
I'm as ready as I'm going to be. I'm as ready as I'm going to be. This is, people have been, there's been some chatter about this topic, and I think it hits home with a lot of people. Some people might think we kind of nitpicking and no, we're not. I think this is a real question that people on both sides of the fence, the gender fence, people need or want answers. And so why
the gender fence?
Yeah.
That's a nice way to put that.
See, I'm so diplomatic.
You got it.
I got to find the right words because I chose the wrong words for the title.
Did you now?
Yeah.
What words did you choose?
It was
That's why you ain't got no.
That's
man.
why you ain't got no man. You know, and it was supposed to sound like that. That see, that's why you ain't got no man. And someone
Can I say something though? I actually liked that title.
You know, because it put me in the mindset of Martin. You know how what he used to tell Pam all the time. See, that's why you ain't got no man. And so, but just trying to be diplomatic and not
You're
appear
trying to be politically correct
and not appear sexist.
Okay.
You know, because there are some men that are single too who don't have a woman. See, that's why you ain't got no woman. See, and so we changed the title so that it's a kinder, gentler title.
Right. Now let me say this. I was talking to somebody, they were talking about, so you're having that's an interesting topic you're having tonight. And they say, yeah, you're going to talk about why women are spinsters and men just don't have any luck.
Lord have mercy.
I'm not going to say who that was. They are on here right now.
Wow.
But
wow. So that's why you're still single is what we settled in on.
Right.
As you can see on the screen.
Yes.
And I think that's more palatable because I want to leave the studio in one piece.
Y'all not gonna mess with Apostle. I told y'all the other week, you mess with Apostle, you mess with me.
There you go.
You know, so
there you go.
He's all good. He's all good. Okay, well, I think what we'll do right now is, think we should take a break before we go into that?
We can.
Okay. How about we do this? Oh, see, Elder McGee, see, I wasn't going to rat you out. You ratted yourself out. I wasn't going to tell them that you're the one that says women are spinsters and men.
Lord have mercy. Elder McGee.
Men just don't have any luck.
You're going to get us hurt up in here. You're going to get me hurt.
No, we're going to send him to Elder McGee.
All right.
That's what we're going to do.
I got the feeling he's going to have my back, though.
You think so? Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, that's cool. Well, let's do this. Let's take a quick break because we're going to come back and play a little something and get into this topic on tonight. Now, again, we want to encourage you all to please make sure you get ready to call in. We got to hear from you. I don't want to say we want to hear. We got to hear from you on tonight with this topic. We have here on the screen, that's why you're still single. So male, female, we want to get your input because at the end of the day, we want to help somebody.
We want to help some folk get,
get hooked up. No, let me start. This is not a date.
Married.
There you
married.
Go. See?
Hitched. Not the hookup.
There is a difference.
This is not the hookup.
There is a difference. But no, yeah, we want to help people on tonight. So we're going to put the number up, 708-223-8953. Again, 708-223-8953. We want to hear from you guys on tonight. I know some of you are planning to call in, and then others of you, I need you to call in, okay?
Yes.
Please do that because we want to hear from you on tonight. Taking a quick break. We're going to come back for more of Mind, Body, and Soul and A&D Conversation.
It may be raining outside, the sun is gonna shine again. Just wait and see. Hold your head high. The sun is gonna shine again on you and me. It may be cloudy outside, the sun is gonna shine again. Just wait and see. Hold your head high. The sun is gonna shine again on you and me. Things are looking so good, just didn't turn out the way you thought that it should. Seems like it's cloudy all day long, but the storm will pass and you can sing a new song. But you gotta keep your head up high, and know that you're never alone. In Him you can rely. Your storm will pass, just wait and see. Don't ever lose faith in humanity. When the winds are blowing and the skies are gray, trust in Him, He'll make a way. sun is gonna shine again. Just wait and see. Hold your head up high. The sun is gonna shine again. Take your hands and leave them there.
There's a brighter day on the way. Just pray.
The sun is gonna shine again. Just wait and see. Hold your head up. The sun is gonna shine again. Now let's go. Philippians 4:7. Everybody's going through something, but you gotta keep your head up. In spite of your situation, the sun is gonna and when you can't work it out, he'll make a way. 'Cause he is good. Can I get a hand? Now throw your hands up. The sun is gonna and let it shine. Tell him, Keon. Shine. You've been made endure for a night, but joy's gonna come in the morning. I'm talking to you. Just hold on, he'll see you through. Come on, y'all. All the way to the sky. Receive that. You can't believe that. Hold your head high. The sun is gonna shine again.
All right. Welcome back. Mind, body, and soul. A&D conversation. Just getting some things together here in the studio. So bear with us. We are going to discuss this topic coming up. But before we do that, we do have a clip that we want to play. And it will actually segue us into our topic for tonight. You may find it quite interesting. I did. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Take a listen.
Backstabbers, double life, havers, abusers, narcissistic people, takers, until you don't got no more and move on to another person so they can take. Oh, yes. It's too cold out there for me. I'm single because of that. I ain't ready. I ain't gotta go. Alexa, what's the temperature outside?
Right now, it's 25 degrees. Tonight, expect a low of 20 degrees.
This ain't my season. I don't do cold. I don't do cold relationships. I'm picky about the weather, environment of my relationship. I need somebody that's warm and inviting like the sun. Somebody that got a low, so I ain't around them sneezing up, my heart because they are allergens to my soul. I need somebody that doesn't rain all the time. That I don't have to feel like I got to bring an umbrella to this relationship. Right now it's too cold. So I'm going to stay single and in the house until I'm ready to weather the storm of happiness with somebody, not the storm of heartbreak. What I'm trying to tell you is people will ask you if you're single and pressure you into getting a relationship. Tell them you ain't ready. Or you ain't found somebody that's inviting like the summer. It's too many cold people. Protect yourself. Some of these people going into relationships without coat, knowing it's 0 degrees outside and they're going to freeze their heart to death. I ain't about that life. Until then, I'm going to stay in the house and be prepared. I got Netflix, I got Hulu, I got Prime, and hold on, I got Alexa. How was your day?
It's been a home run. Thanks for asking.
I ain't never alone. So what I'm saying is I can avoid negative relationships because I'm waiting for one that's worthwhile.
Woohoo.
Well.
What did you say at the end of that?
I can avoid negative relationships because I'm waiting for one that is worthwhile. And I think just to kick us off on this topic, I think that's the number one. Men are not as shallow as people think we are. we got some depth, we have some layers, and I think some of us we're simply waiting for the right relationship or the right person, because we really only want to do marriage once.
Okay, why did you say, let me back you up. Why did you say men are not as shallow as we think?
I think some people think that that men just want they want physical connections and not anything deeper. I think that's the assumption, not for every woman, but for a lot of people, that especially when you have men who are, let's talk about mature men as they get older, as they grow older, as they live and learn, they really only want to settle down one time. I think that just settling down too quickly, there is a fear of choosing the wrong person. Now, I just said a whole lot because,
And you did from a male perspective.
and I'm not now, understand this. I'm not validating the mode of action or the way that the men are doing things. But when you delve into the psyche, what's motivating their decisions and what they're doing, I think that fear is a big part of it. Fear. Now, should you be motivated by fear? You should not be. But I think a lot of men are motivated by fear. That's why they wait. That's why they drag their feet. That's why they're slow making a decision, because of fear of making the wrong decision.
Okay,
is what haunts them.
I'm gonna put my hand up like I'm in class. I feel like welcome back, Carter. I think I'm dating myself. Anyway,
yeah.
But you knew what I was talking about,
right? And the fact that I knew,
right,
I'm
exactly.
myself too.
Okay, so you said you think basically you guys move out of fear, or your actions.
Well, when you say you guys,
excuse me, you're speaking for the male right now,
right?
So that's what I mean,
right? Okay.
So
okay.
We know Apostle is happily married. He is not single. Okay. Right. But what I was going to ask you was, do they know though that fear factor is why they're operating like they're operating?
They may not know.
Or do they acknowledge?
Some may acknowledge, some may not. Some, because it can manifest in different ways. It can be, okay, I want to make sure that she's the right person. But then it also can be, I want to make sure I have all my ducks in a row. And if things aren't perfect on my end or on my side of the fence, I don't want to bring her into my world, and my world is not in order. My world is in utter chaos. And so
now that's a real man that's going to do that.
But you know what? If you're motivated by fear, are things ever going to be perfect? Like 100% perfect? And I think sometimes people are waiting, or men are waiting for certain things to be 100% perfect to take that step. When what if you need someone to make it perfect?
Cool. See, you want to start off preaching.
So, yeah. What
that's good though.
What if you need that special someone to make?
Well, see, and that's why I was saying, do they even realize that fear is what's motivating them to act the way they act? Because see, sometimes I don't think that they realize that when you really look at, get down to the nit, peel back the layers, that's what, I'm scared that I'm not going to succeed. I'm scared that I'm not going to get the right one. I don't think they really realize that. And I mean, we're in such a different society now where responsibility has been flip-flopped or changed or whatever, or, and so people don't really recognize or saying, thinking that men should, do what you were just talking about. But, hey, Teresa, I see you watching. You guys, again, we want you to engage in this conversation with us on tonight. 708-223-8953. Again, 708-223-8953. Because we're talking about why you're still single. You female, you male, are still single. And that's really good to start off with, because
I want to dispel the myth that men don't want to settle down. I think now this is an intellectual show.
Is it really a myth, or is it just certain
people, and then certain men kind of make it bad for all of us,
and it seems like they're like the majority.
Right, don't look over there, look over here. Don't focus on them. But,
go to the minority side. I mean, and I mean that in the sense of more and less. That's what I mean.
So the Bible says it this way, that in Genesis, when it speaks of Adam, that it said that there was not a woman found for him.
Okay.
And then in Proverbs, it says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtains favor with the Lord. Then it says again in Proverbs, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above. And so you got find, findeth, and found. If you look at that word, and I'm not preaching, but I just want to give you some context here. Find deals with, that word find deals with a purposeful search for something valuable. A purposeful search for something that you do not have, that you deem valuable or worth having. This is something that the first man had without even asking for it from God. He had that.
Okay.
Because there was something in him, a void that was missing. God took his rib, and with that he made the woman. And so there was a void, something was missing that he didn't even know what was missing, but he was on a search for it. And I think that's really all men. All men are really on a search for something, even if we don't know
what we're searching.
Exactly.
What y'all searching.
Even if we don't know, because I'm going somewhere, even if we don't know what it is that we're searching for, we will know when we find it. Because I'm looking for something, he that findeth, ETH at the end. So I'm always looking, even when I don't know I'm looking. Even when I don't know I'm searching. And when I find that, it's something about the right woman that when a man finds that woman, she will make him see things about himself that he didn't even know was present. So I didn't even know I liked this until she presented it to me. I didn't even know I had an affinity for that and so every man is on a search for that.
Right.
And so when he can't find that, he continues searching.
Right.
So that's, I think, if I can start off with that, let me start off with that.
And that's good. I'm glad you started off with that, because I want to ask you guys the question. Now, he wanted to start off, when I was writing down some notes as he was talking. He started off with wanting to dispel the myth that men don't really want to get married. Right. That's what he started. And he said a lot of stuff there. Great stuff. Now, I want to ask you, I mean, what are your thoughts? Is that what you all think? Of course, I will be talking to the women. Man, you can answer this too if you want. What do you think? Did he have to dispel that myth? Or myth?
Did
he have to? Is that what we're automatically thinking? And why are you thinking that? Did you listen to any things he was saying in terms of, sometimes men are fearful of picking the wrong one, or not being successful in a marriage or in a home or whatever. He's got a lot of stuff on his mind. Now I'm gonna tell you something. How you doing, Pastor? The other day I was out working, and you know what I said to myself? I said, all of a sudden, I don't know where my mind I just started thinking. And I said, you know what? I'm getting ready to send Anthony a text. and I'm going to tell him how much I appreciate him.
Okay.
I'm just, and because I started thinking about all the responsibility that he has as a husband, as the head of the house,
Mhm.
you know, and I started thinking there are a lot of things he does that I don't even realize that he's doing for the betterment of our home.
Right.
You know, and so I sent that text. So I mean, I'm saying all that to say you all have an awesome responsibility.
We do.
So I can understand why a male would be, you know, before he gets married, probably have that fear. You know, I want to make sure I succeed. I want to make sure that I have, you know, all my ducks in order when I take on this wife, you know, and create this family. I can understand that.
And it's a part of what motivates a man. We and I said it earlier, you should never be motivated by fear. Any decision that you make out of fear is an irrational decision.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So when you make any decision, even marriage, whether you decide to do it or not to do it, you can make a decision to marry just because you're getting old.
Right.
Just because, you know, the clock is ticking and you're fearful of not finding the right person. So any decision that you make out of fear is an irrational decision. And so what I'm not saying that to excuse the men. I'm not saying that to say, okay, this is what makes it okay, but I'm just giving some sort of insight.
Yes.
Insight, because we want to get it right too.
Yeah, and we need that insight because and you all haven't answered my question yet. Did he have to dispel the myth that men are scared to get married? Because I know some of you all are thinking that or have thought that, or maybe that was, you know, in your mind or whatever. You know, sometimes you may be in a relationship or you really, really care about this guy, but you're like, you know, that he is really not going to commit. You know, because you say, "Oh, he's just scared to get married. He's scared of commitment."
Scared of commitment. Oh my God.
That's the biggest thing that we hear. You know, in relationships between male and female, that they are, you know, they're just scared.
Scared of commitment. And then, you know, I said it earlier, and I'm saying it kind of multiple ways, but you don't want to make the wrong decision. There are some people who they're not married because maybe their standards may be too high.
Ooh, I'm glad you said that.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So what if you're waiting on Mr. Right or Mrs. Right, and you got too many boxes checked? Just too many boxes checked, and there is being discriminatory. I saw this article that says that there's a difference between being picky and discriminatory. It's okay to be discriminatory.
Okay.
It's okay to say, okay, here's what I need as a woman, as a man. Here's what I need out of in a committed relationship. But then if you are picky, then you're saying, okay, well, he has to be this tall. He has to weigh this amount. He has to be this complexion. He has to make this amount of money. He has to work in this field. And some of us, I think we have too many boxes checked, because what God has in store for you, yes, you have to have an affinity for, but maybe all of your boxes, maybe every one of those boxes are not going to be checked.
Ooh. Now that's interesting. Now,
and are you waiting for one more box? I'm waiting for one more box. If I get that box, then we good.
Let me read this. One of the posts show, one of the questions stuck out in someone's mind. Now, I actually shared this. It was created, and then I shared it to my page, and some of my Facebook friends were commenting on it. The last question that was on here was, are your standards simply too high? When we're talking about that's why you're still single. Are your standards simply too high? So one person came on here and they were like, you know, they did like one of the question mark type things when they were like, that's interesting. And I said, okay, why'd you say that? And they were like, the last question, which is what I read, are your standards simply too high? Said that question raised their eyebrows. And I said, okay. I said, the one about the high standards, they say yes. If they're my standards, why should they be lowered to accommodate someone else?
See, and I see what they're saying, and I don't know the gender of this person.
Oh, that was a female. It was a female.
What they could have been anonymous. I see what they're saying. But it really boils down to what's reasonable and what's not reasonable. I have seen some men who can we just be, and this man, I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
Just speak.
If you are a certain caliber of man, then you ought not to expect a caliber of woman that is outside of your league.
Ooh. So you want this, and that, and the other, and somebody else, and what you bring it to the table.
Right. And I think that's the same for a woman.
Yes.
Especially in the day and age that we live in now, women are doing for themselves.
Yes, they are.
They got their own job. They got their own money.
And they have their own careers.
No, I don't agree with that.
To do certain things. I'm saying that's what they say.
They say
they don't need a man to make the money.
Right.
They don't need a man to buy them a house, because many of them have their houses or their vehicles.
They don't need a man to dress them or nothing like that. But if you are a certain caliber of person, it's unrealistic for you to want someone that is outside of your league. Now, that's not for me to say. And that's not for me to say what caliber of person you are.
I was gonna make a joke, but I probably better not do that. But go ahead.
But and I hope you understand what I'm saying, because I'm not trying to be mean.
No.
But I've seen
that's realistic though.
I've seen it. I've seen, an unkept man, a man who doesn't keep himself. And it's not because he doesn't have the means.
That's an atrocity.
But he's an unkept man that wants a woman that's fresh off the runway. You know what I'm saying? And now, unless she's just that type of woman that wants an unkept man, and so that's a shallow way of looking at it. But even with like character personalities and character traits, you kind of got to want someone who is on your level. And sometimes we can think too highly of ourselves. And because
okay, so that's where you're going with that one, in terms of when she was saying, if my standards are certain.
And trust me, I'm not saying that she's thinking too highly of herself. I'm just saying you got to be real with yourself and say, okay, if I want all these boxes checked, am I bringing, on the flip side, am I bringing somebody to the table, which is myself,
right? Because they have boxes they have checked, won't check too.
That kind of equates to that, because every, you, Bonnie, I need a Clyde.
There you go.
Vice versa. So that's one thing.
This is good stuff. Let me look here on Facebook Live. Eric Taverball, thanks for watching. My cousin, all the way from Kentucky, he says, good evening. You have to be equally yoked. Trust me. Ain't that right, cousin? Yeah, you got the right one now, Eric. He just recently got married last year. Remarried last year. But yeah, he's agreeing with that you have to be equally yoked. So he's agreeing with what you're saying. Nadine, thanks for watching. I believe that's Alex Burns. I see Dr. Hill on. Thank you for watching. Ann Frazier, I believe I saw you on. Joe McCord, we appreciate you. There's a comment here. You have to have a realistic view of what you bring to the table, or you will stay single. Now, I totally agree with that. And I'm in agreement with what you were saying, for sure, because you can't, okay, you get, individuals, and I've seen stuff like this, they're praying, Lord, I want him to be like this. I want him to be like that. Da, 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 da. And you just run it down. And now I'm gonna tell you, I just go from my own point of view. Before I got married,
Mhm.
I had a list.
See,
Who wouldn't have a list? But then the Lord had to check me though. Okay, what you bringing to the table?
Mhm.
And so I had to
Now-
work on myself.
Okay, so that was a question I was going to ask you. So did you water down your list, or did you come up to meet what your expectation was?
I'm not saying I wasn't there.
Go on in that. I ain't
But-
saying I wasn't already there.
But it's always room for improvement. You get the evaluations on the job. They don't want to give you a 5 out of 5. They give you a 4 out of 5 because they want you to keep,
You want to keep trying.
But no, I knew that there were some things that I needed to,
Mhm.
or, obviously the Lord, had me to recognize, okay,
Yeah.
you need to get this together, whatever, da, da, da. And so I did. I worked on me, and I wasn't to the point where I'm like, I got it all together. Yeah, I'm bringing all this to no. I started examining myself, and just as I was praying for a mate, he was praying for a mate too. So you have to think about all that and have all that, take all that into consideration. So again, what you're bringing to the table is going to be so very important. You can't just say I want him to be A through Z and you only A through K.
A through D.
You're missing some letters there.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Josh, thanks for watching. Let's see. Pastor Cece says, don't make excuses for grown men and allow yourself to be strung along. Woo-hoo. They know how to go after what they want. Oh.
Now let me just, can I chime in on that?
Yeah, you may.
I will say this. One sign of a mature man. Here's a sign of a mature man is that he makes decisions. Did y'all hear what I just said?
Whoa.
A mature man he does not remain in limbo in that indecisive realm, because you cannot advance your life without, life is full of choices and pinpoints, points in time where you have to make decisions. And if you don't make the decision, then your life is stuck.
Wow.
And so don't get caught up with a man or a woman. Because let me throw this at you. Do you know that marriage, if you really look at it in its traditional sense, okay, I'm the man, she's the woman, I go and ask for her hand in marriage, or I go and talk to the parents, get their approval, and then I ask for her hand in marriage. Ultimately, she has to say yes.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So no matter, I can go through all those motions, but if she doesn't say yes, then there is no marriage. And so really the power is in the woman's hand. It really is. It really is. And
indeed it is.
And so, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But
how often have I seen, I've seen these vids too, where the guy, he, has it all put together where he's going to propose to this girl. And I saw one, and he was even in the middle of a mall.
Oh my God.
And he went to go and propose to her, and she was like, no. And she walked away, and his heart was just like so like dejected.
My heart sinks when I don't laugh at stuff like that. You laughed at it, Annette.
I didn't say I laughed at it.
Come on now.
No, I didn't laugh, and
because,
I'm laughing now.
In front of all those people, he was crushed in front of all those people. Because ultimately the decision is in her hands. But I think women, because some women don't understand that, they will remain in a situation longer than what they should and allow themselves to be strung along, waiting on a man to make up his mind.
Wow.
And that is not a good decision for a woman to subject herself to. I believe that, of course, I'm going to say this: every man needs time to make up his mind.
Yes.
But you cannot just stay or remain in limbo at a certain point. And it's not about giving him an ultimatum saying, okay, you marry me or I'm going to leave. No, at a certain point, I believe a woman has to make a decision that's beneficial to herself.
Oh, yeah.
And
sure.
say, okay, this is taking too long. I'm going to give you some time to think about it. I'm going to go this way and you go that way.
And that'll make them think.
Yeah,
Won't
it will. It will.
Okay.
It will.
There's a statement on here. Beatrice Carter says the power is not just in any woman's hand. It's just in the hand of the woman he already wants.
Oh, it's in the hand of the woman that he asked. That he asked for her hand.
Did you see my mouth when I read that? My mouth flew right open.
That's absolutely true, because part of the reason why some of us are not married, and we just going on right along in the conversation, some of the reason why we're not married is because we who we want is not who we're supposed to have.
Wow.
And we're waiting on someone to say yes to something that was never meant to be.
Now, see, you just took a sharp turn around the corner. Well, you and Deirdre, she started it.
She started it, yeah.
And that is so deep, Apostle. Oh my God.
Yeah, and so how long do you wait for not supposed to be yours? You don't wait.
Barking up the wrong tree.
You don't wait. And so, especially when you are, you get to a certain age and people become, okay, if this is not going to be profitable, if this is not going to be a relationship that adds to my future, then I don't want to waste any time. And that is a very mature mindset to have.
Right.
But I think that once you come to that aha moment where you say, okay, she ain't the one.
She ain't the one.
Then why would you continue that?
Right.
Or he ain't the one. Now, of course, your heart gets tangled up in certain things and it becomes difficult to untangle your heart. But I think that once you know that person is not the one, then if you continue in that vein, then they become a hindrance to the one.
Right. Yeah.
And they blind you from seeing who that one could really be.
Whoa, that's deep stuff right there, guys. Okay, 708-223-8953, 708-223-8953. I need you guys to call in and chime in. You think so?
I think they're scared to call in.
Okay, well, I need y'all to be unscared on tonight because we need to hear from you. Okay, Beatrice also says here, we shouldn't wait when we know it's not the one. Yeah, but you know what, Deirdre? I totally agree with that. But how many of them still take themselves, because that's going to take you through heartache. It's going to take you through heartache because in a couple of different ways. It's going to take you through heartache if they say yes. And it's going to take you through heartache if they say no. Because if they say yes and they're not the one that's for you, you got a big problem on your hand.
Right.
You're not in the will. Oh my goodness. You're gonna have some issues. And what you're gonna do with that scripture that says, whoso findeth the wife findeth the good thing and obtain favor, the end of that scripture, to obtain. So you want to right one so you can attain that favor. Beatrice, you are lighting it up here tonight. Let's see. Alex Burns says that's a great point. Thanks for watching. She also says it is very honorable to release a person when you know they are not they're not the one for you. That's good. Yeah. That's excellent stuff right there because and some people, I think it becomes an issue where they don't want to have egg on their face or be rejected. So they still continue on trying to pursue somebody that is not theirs.
Trying to make a good thing out of a bad situation.
Yeah.
So many people watching, so many people, expecting certain things out of that relationship. And then for it not to work out, I can see someone trying to make a crooked thing straight,
right,
so to speak.
Right.
But yeah, you got to kind of know at a certain point, you're going to see whether or not that person is for you.
Mm-hmm.
And once you see that they are not, it's time to move on.
And you know what? A lot of times, and see, we have to, and agree with that as well. We have to be so careful because, see, the enemy knows, and he will deceive you if you
Yes.
allow him. And so you have to be so careful. You may think, oh, this has got to be the one for me because all these ducks are lining up in order, all these check marks, from what I said I wanted. I see in this person. But is that who God said
Right.
is for you?
Right.
And see, not only like Deidre said, it's honorable to release a person when you know that they're not the one. So it works both ways.
But I do think this. I do think God will give you something that you like. I believe God considers
I like that. That was good.
your what you are attracted to.
Okay.
Because God will be playing a mean joke on a lot of folk.
Right. Definitely.
To say, oh, is this what you like? Aha, I got something different for you.
Really?
I think that God knows who to put you with, who is your counterpart.
There you go.
By counterpart, it means that, okay, you may not have all of the same qualities that I have, but your qualities offset mine and mine offset yours, or mine adds to yours and yours add to mine.
Okay.
And so I think when you find that person, but again, you got to be on that search, because some of us, and let me just say it this way. Some of us I learned that as we get older, we become less shallow. So who you may have wanted at 25 may be something different than who you want at 35.
Ooh.
And I think that when you have all these boxes that you want to check at 25, your maturity level really has to come into play. Because if you make that choice based off of your maturity level and it's not where it's supposed to be, then, either you're going to be waiting or you're going to choose something that may not be to your benefit.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I'm seeing these comments rolling in. Let me read them. Let's see. Teresa says here, you should not wait when you know, but there shouldn't be mixed messages sent either. No bueno, no good. Wisdom is the principal thing. She always come up here lighting up stuff. But that's good.
Of course, there should not be mixed signals.
Right.
And I'll even try to deal with that. Sometimes you're dealing with folk who don't know what they want themselves. So it's not necessarily a mixed signal, even though some do send mixed signals, and that is completely accurate. Some folk just don't know. They still trying to find themselves. They still trying to decide on, and it's that whole indecisive thing that I was saying earlier. And what you got to do at that point is you got to make the best decision for yourself.
Right.
Because apparently that's what they're doing.
Right.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's see. This is a good one. Someone says they're counseling a young man who's close to them, who is being shamed into settling for a certain type of woman. He has expressed repeatedly that there is nothing wrong with that type, but it's just not for him. He's gotten to the point where he's hearing so much that it's disrespectful to not be attracted to this type of woman, that he has frustrated himself into just not dating at all. Wow. He knows specifically what he wants, and really, because of his life, he does not have to settle. Plus, how are you going to tell another person who their body chemistry should respond to? People sometimes think that they have your life mapped out, that they have all the answers for what you are dealing with. They, first wait, but first they'll, okay, when you gonna get a girlfriend? When you gonna get a boyfriend? Okay, when you gonna get married? Okay, when you gonna have a baby? So they're always asking you questions, like they're always in your business. And I agree. How are you gonna tell somebody who they should be with and who they shouldn't be with? Like she said, being shamed into settling for a certain type of woman. We have to be so careful, especially if it's our loved ones, family members, or what have you. We think that we, can tell them because they're related to us. Oh no, and that's not for you. So how you gonna really?
At the end of the day, you cannot live your life off of other people's standards.
I'm sorry, I just reminded of a story. Go ahead, you can finish.
And I think sometimes people who think they, want the best for you, and they may want the best for you, but they can overstep their boundaries. The church is extremely guilty of that. The church, church folk will put people together, and they will put the most incompatible people together, just because it looks nice. They would look so nice together.
Look nice together.
They would look, not knowing that these are two different people from two different backgrounds, and they just don't mesh, they don't mix.
They butt heads.
And they will put them people together, and then throw rice at the wedding, bring the broom for them to jump over, say yay, hallelujah. We
Kumbaya.
right, and then watch this, and then they go home.
They go home,
and they send them home to figure out life together. And the church has to stop that, because, and this is the reason why a lot of people in the church, and this is a whole nother show, a lot of people in the church have private relationships.
Wow.
Private relationships, not secret relationships, but because there is a difference, but a private relationship that only a certain few people know, who they can be accountable to, and they can kind of help them navigate through some stuff and oversee some stuff. They don't make their relationship private, because too many people have too many things to say, and it could throw them off.
Right.
Throw them off.
Okay. Dr. Hill says here, she says, I have only 3 requirements and have been told that I was not realistic.
3 requirements.
Woo.
Only 3.
Only 3. She says God gave her 2 prototypes to let her know that he has done it for others. He would do it for her. And she says, I can wait.
Go ahead, Evangelist Hill.
Dr. Hill, that's good stuff right there. She said, I can wait. I mean,
I'm not in a rush.
There you go. All right. And that's good to learn. For you guys to learn from what she said. Deidre says here, that's good, Apostle, less shallow, true. Byron Hill, thanks for watching. Another comment from Deidre. She says, sometimes what seems to be mixed signals is just a learning process. If I'm dating, I might like him, but I just can't go all in for a long. Oh, okay. For a long time. Okay. That could appear to a fella a mixed signal. Men sometimes do the same. She's on fire tonight. Men, it's on both sides. Men, it takes us a little longer to understand. Well, I don't know. Let me reel that back. I was going to say it takes men a little longer to understand no. Okay.
But I don't think that that's true. I think.
Well, why were you getting ready to say it though?
Well, I was because some men don't take no for an answer. And a man will say in a minute, God told me you was my wife. Oh,
I had a number of those.
You know what I mean? But God got to tell the woman too.
Yes, he does. And that's exactly what I told them.
And but I think that for different reasons, sometimes we don't want to accept certain realities. And we
she's just not that into you.
And we want to make stuff be what it's just not meant to be. God didn't. When I was about, I think I was coming out of college, and one thing God told me, he said, I already know, and I wasn't even praying for a wife. I wasn't. But he told me, he said, I already know who your wife is, even though you don't.
Yeah.
even though you don't. And it kind of put me at rest, even though, I talked about we come predisposed with that search, but it put me at rest because I'm like, okay, God got this.
Right.
God really has this. If I just continue being who he wants me to be and being where he wants me to be, then our paths
Will cross.
and I think we try to make stuff happen. Relationships should be fluid and kind of in the flow of things, as opposed to kind of mechanically, okay,
Right. Okay. That's good stuff. And that
Yeah.
that a lot that and the Lord maps our lives out. And that's another thing we're gonna have to be confident in, knowing, that God's got us.
Yes.
That when you saying that the Lord told you that told me he knew what route you wanted to take, or he wanted to take you in.
Mhm.
So then he knew he had to match you up with the right one,
Mhm.
so that you can go that route. And that goes back to what you were saying earlier in terms of, the levels and, being on, a certain level. God knew who to
God
select.
already knew.
Because I don't know, you could have had somebody in mind yourself, but you were like, okay, I know who I have for you.
Absolutely.
I'll never forget my late uncle. He was the pastor of our church, and I'll never forget him telling the story about when he was, I think, had graduated from college. I believe that's the time it was,
Mhm.
and he was dating this young lady, and so he was like really, really, his spiritual life was really increasing and everything. The Lord was really blessing him spiritually, and he said I think he knew that he needed to break up with this girl, but he didn't really want it. He didn't really want to hurt her feelings. I think they had been together for a while. And he said one day the Lord just instructed him to do it. He went to her house, and he said, as soon as he walked in the door, she said, "You're coming to break up with me, aren't you?"
Wow.
And, of course, he went ahead and broke up with her. And he said when he walked down the sidewalk, he was skipping and jumping because he felt a relief, and he felt that he was doing,
He felt free.
and the Lord directed him, because he needed a certain wife,
Mhm.
For the ministry, for what he was, what the Lord had for him to do. And I'll never forget that. So it's like sometimes we could be with somebody for so long, dating them for so long, or seeing them for so long, and we just automatically think, yeah, that's the one.
Right.
And it's got to be. We've been through this together. We've been through that together. So it's got to be. But what is the Lord saying about it? What is the Lord saying about it? I've been actually giving out the phone number, and I'm getting messages that people are trying to call in. So I'm not sure what's going on with our phone line. So okay. So you guys, if you can just call back, I believe the phone line should be open now. So sorry about that. We apologize for that. I didn't know it wasn't open. Janice John, thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Let's see. Deatrice says, and when I said all in, I meant that in a quite innocent way. For those that don't know me, I got you. I was
We
there. I
got
was
it.
right
We
there
got
with
it.
you, Deatrice. I know.
We
That's
got
Miss
it.
Texas right there. All right. Let's see. Brandy says here, when relatives ask when you're going to have a baby, ask them, are they going to give you some baby money? I agree. But old folks used to do that. They used to
Yeah.
go from one stage of your
Yeah.
life to the next.
And we just need to stay out of people's business. Oh my God. Why do we feel like we have to be in people's business?
Because we ain't got none.
Exactly. Or
Or
because
they ain't got
our lives are boring and our lives are mundane, and we feel like we want to live vicariously through somebody else's. And so you got to let folk find people. You got to let folk date. You got to let allow them to get to know one another.
Yes.
And stop trying to matchmake.
Stop trying to matchmake.
You
Got
know?
it. You have to. You guys you're chiming in here on Facebook Live. So thank you. We're going to read these comments. Again, if you're trying to call in, go ahead and do it now. 708-223-8953. 708-223-8953. Mark Hunt says here, I've attempted. He tried to call in.
He tried to call in.
Okay.
That's
okay, so he's leaving a comment. He said he read that men shouldn't pursue marriage until he has reached and or achieved his goals. I'm no biblical scholar, but didn't Paul say something like, it's better to stay as I am. Paul was unmarried, you guys, because you can handle business more efficiently. But if I can't control if you can't control yourself, then you should get married or something to that. Yeah,
It's better than married
better
than
married than burn. That's the scripture he's referring to.
But guess what? And here's what he's saying. If I want to stay focused, maybe I should, take the foot off the gas pedal concerning marriage. Here's what I say to that. Marriage with the right person, if it's with the wrong person or a person is not maturing, then that relationship can be a distraction. So imagine having some type of goal or some type of dream that you're trying to achieve or something that you're trying to do for God, some type of assignment. If you're married to the wrong person or not a mature person, then that relationship has the capacity to distract you from what God has in store for you.
Definitely. I thought we had a call on the line.
But likewise, on the flip side of it, if it's the right person, they won't be a distraction.
A&D conversation. One moment, let me put you on you for A&D conversation. One moment. Okay, let's see if we can get this here. Got the speaker. Okay, you're on live with A&D conversation.
How's it going? Or good evening, I should say.
And good evening to you. How are you? And who are you?
My name is Scott.
Okay.
I'm from Orlando.
Scott calling from Orlando?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks for calling in. What do you want to tell us about this topic on tonight?
About the being single, I don't like. There was some technical difficulties, so I wasn't catching the prior conversation. But as far as like why people are single, and this can go for both men and women, I think there's a lack of base honesty. And when I say base honesty, like approaching things on a very base human level. And I think because people are not being honest with themselves, it kind of jams up the communication with a potential partner. And while I do believe in traditional values, I think considering that time goes on, things evolve and advance, I think some of those values need to, in my personal belief, need to kind of evolve with the times. Not radically.
Yes.
But just evolve to address like, okay, this is not 50 years ago, 80 years ago. Values can change because the world is changing. So I'll give an example of just like base honesty. On a human level, we interact with people, we get closer to them, bonds grow. But haven't you had a day, and I'm just saying one day where you might have looked at your spouse and you're just in a weird mood. It's kind of like, I don't want to see your face right now. I just want some time to myself. Doesn't mean I don't love you. Doesn't mean I don't care. It's just like, I need space. And with that kind of thing, I think that's why I say base honesty, because as human beings, we go through our emotions. You're getting older, midlife crisis, whatever going on, job stress, whatever have you. And then it's like to navigate those things as an individual, but then trying to navigate all that while dealing with another person. Because now you're concerned about, if I say this, they're going to possibly take it the wrong way. And it could lead to a myriad of problems. So I think some people just kind of feel like, maybe relationship's not for me, because it's just kind of like, I'm used to being in my own space, functioning at my own speed. I'm not really hurting anybody or potentially rubbing people the wrong way, and I'll just cruise solo. Now, is what I'm saying kind of making any kind of sense?
It makes a whole lot of sense. I was just sitting there saying, you're making a whole lot of sense. You're saying a whole lot. I think that sometimes you don't want to lose yourself. You don't want to lose your individuality. You don't want to lose who you are. And you don't want to have to make excuses or have to explain yourself all the time. This is just how I feel today. And I think that when you go into a marriage or a committed relationship, then the relationship takes on a persona. It takes on a personality. And sometimes you can feel like you're drawn into that personality more than you are your own individual personality, and you're losing yourself. You're losing yourself.
And so I love how you started out talking about honesty, because that is definitely of utmost importance in any relationship. You have to be honest. And like you said, there may be times you just want to be by yourself.
Right.
Don't mean I don't love you, but can I get some space? Now I can be a loner in a minute.
Yeah.
Like a straight up loner. I can
Me
just,
too.
and I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
So as long as, my mate knows that, then we're good, But
Scott, you helped us out a lot,
yes,
man.
you did. Thank you so
Good
much.
stuff.
No problem.
All right, you take care.
All right, you too. Have a great evening.
Okay, you too.
That was so
That was so on point.
on point, insightful. There are certain people out there, why ain't you married?
Right.
Well, what if I don't even want to be married? What if I'm just happy chilling by my lonesome?
Right.
Because I don't have to answer to nobody. I don't have to explain myself. I can go where I want to go. I can leave. I can come home when I feel like it. I'm really good. There are some people who are like that, even though the Bible says it's not good for man to be alone. But there are some people who have resolved that, you know what, I'm okay being by myself, because they see marriage, the Bible talks about it as marriage being bondage, and being shackled to someone who now every decision that you make, whether it's verbally out loud or even on the inside, you got to consider
the other person.
And it's the noble thing to do, but some people just aren't ready to do that.
Some people are not ready to do that. And if you're not ready to do that, then yes, stay single, because, again, this is a whole nother life, a whole nother, that's responsibility, more responsibility than you just looking out for yourself. You can just go home tonight and just grab you a pizza and you're good, or something like that. You don't have to worry, okay, what I got to get for the family? What do I have to cook for the family? It's another responsibility.
Yeah.
And I want to ask,
He said even the expectations of ideals and what I heard was roles even in relationships.
Yes.
And you come in. Now watch this. A man can be self-sufficient, just like a woman can be self-sufficient alone. But when they get in a relationship, all of a sudden, there's roles.
And that's life.
And that's life. It's life. And it has its good points and its bad points. But I think that's worth him bringing that up.
Oh yeah, that's wonderful. Again, thank you for calling in. We appreciate you. Let's see, Tradana, thank you for watching. Dr. Hill says, Apostle, some women won't take no. I have seen some women in the church. Is this what this says? In the same church with wedding gowns. 5 women in the church with wedding gowns in their closets, and this pastor had not dated it. Okay, you know what?
Now you messing.
Now you're messing, because a lot of us have seen that too. Okay, we have a call on the line. You listen to A&D Conversation.
Hey, A&D, this is Brandy. Great show.
Hey, Brandy.
Hey, Brandy.
Great show. I want to mention one thing that I have heard, and it sounded like a cop-out to me at first, but I've heard this several times. A lot of men are just not they're fine with dating regularly, like dating several people, but as far as settling down, they're pushing that till as far back as possible, because they know that they are not, once they get married, they give up their right to show any kind of weakness. They give up their right to be concerned about something, to cry, to let off steam and show any kind of, I'm not okay. And I need your help to help me be okay. That's not allowed. Women don't allow that nowadays. We definitely don't want you crying because you're stressed. We don't want to hear, I don't know what we're going to do about this situation. I'm going to get it together. But right now I have a moment of weakness, and I need to show that. So they're trying their best to just hold off as long as possible, because they know that that's not acceptable. They know that it's not any kind of depression, any kind of, I need to be alone right now. All of that, they give up their rights to that, or they feel like they give up their rights to that. You definitely can't show it when you're dating, but God forbid you show it after you're married, because now you're linked to this woman and she's looking at you like, well, if you crying, should I be crying too? You know, how bad is it? You know, so I heard that, and I think that our culture as women, I'm going to say as far as Black women, let me say that, because I don't know what white women do. Our culture as far as Black women should ease up a little bit and understand that men are men, they are people, and sometimes we shouldn't hold them to such a standard. You know, we want the strong Black man, but he has weak moments just like we do. And I don't mean weak as in, oh, I don't feel like paying the bills, or oh, I feel like cheating because I'm just bored. I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking about you're human. And just like situations hit you guys that you are unsure of, or you need to release steam or whatever, that should be allowable for men too, to a certain extent. Now, if Joe is blathering and crying every day, that's going to be a problem. I promise you that's going to be a problem. But I mean, he should be allowed. This should be, even in a serious relationship, not even married, they should be able to find a safe space in you where they feel comfortable enough to be able to discuss some things and show vulnerability. So just thought I'd throw that in.
Okay. All right.
Keyword at the end. Thank you for calling, Brandy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Great show today.
Keyword at the end, vulnerability. I think, of course, men should not be weak. You know, you shouldn't cry more than your woman. You really, and honestly, I don't think a woman really wants that. Well, what we gonna do?
She said, should I be crying too?
Right. Right. And so I don't.
That was quite interesting what you just did.
I don't think that women really want that. But here's what I think women do want. I think they want a man who is willing to be vulnerable with them.
Yes.
Because no relationship can make it without vulnerability. And if you are afraid of vulnerability, then it will hinder you taking any relationship to the next level. You can already be in it, but that relationship is going to be stagnant if you are afraid to make or allow yourself to be vulnerable with the one person you ought to be able to be vulnerable with. I believe every man wants companionship. We want to be able to say to our counterpart, you know what, I'm hurting right now. I'm hurting right now. Or man, this thing really disappointed me. Or I'm a little down right now. And we want to be able to say. Now, a man can be in a relationship and not feel that he can, but we still want to. I think every man wants to be able to say that. And likewise, for women, there are some women in that who don't want to be vulnerable with a man because they automatically assume that if I let my guard down with this man, he's gonna take advantage of me. So on the men's side, she's gonna think I'm weak, or she's gonna take advantage of me. The woman's side, he gonna take me for everything I got. He gonna use and abuse me if I let my guard down. And so that whole vulnerability piece, that's a big deal.
It's key. It is very key. And for myself, I definitely want that to be there. You know, I want to be able to be vulnerable, and I want him to be able to be vulnerable as well. Because that shows me that shows me you. That shows me your heart. That shows me the intimate part about you.
Imagine being in a relationship and you cannot tell the other person that you're hurting.
Oh, now that's scary.
That's what makes it bondage.
Yes.
It's not supposed to be, but it can be bondage if it's not handled the right way. It really should free you into other areas that you would not experience without that person. But we're really in bondage to ourselves in a lot of cases. In certain relationships, because if you are hurting and can't tell me, or if I'm hurting and I can't tell you, then that's a prison. Yeah. And I think some people are afraid of that even,
Can I ask you a question? And
Yes.
I'm gonna get back to your comments here on Facebook Live. So we thank you guys so much. You can still call in 708-223-8953. Again, 708-223-8953. Now, my question is, okay, and it's kind of going back a little bit. You mentioned earlier how you started us out talking about dispelling the myth that men don't want to get married because the women, single women, and we think that. We think they just don't want to commit. They don't want to settle down. The man doesn't. So with that in mind, because you started explaining there could be a fear factor there, fear of failing at a marriage or what have you, or not being able to provide for their home like they should as a husband. So is that the reason why?
What you gonna say? I'm ready. Whatever it is.
Is that the reason why some of these men, because I'm gonna tell you, and I think this is very ridiculous, and I may be kind of going off a little bit, but I think, or some of the behavior that I see some single men exemplify is utterly ridiculous to me. You have one man that thinks that he can romanticize 10 different women, and all of them know each other. They don't know about the connection with him. No, he can be with them. He can, he can sleep with them. He can, take them out and this, that, and the other. He has like this, whole circle of
a web.
Yeah. Yeah. Web.
A net. Yeah.
not me.
Not a net.
Not me.
A net. I mean, y'all know what I'm saying.
That was funny. But yeah, I don't. So is that a reason why that they may? I mean, I know that.
I think that is a man who is not fully matured. That is a man,
and has nothing to do with his chronological age.
Right. A lot of us, we're boys on the inside. Just like some women are girls on the inside. We got all the anatomy, we got all the facial hair, some may be turning gray, but we're boys on the inside. And they, you really can't blame that one on fear. I think that is more so immaturity.
Okay.
I think that's more so immaturity. And the woman, because I'm gonna say this, let me throw this in the mix. There are women who know that they are a part of that
web or harem.
Web.
I call it a harem.
And they will submit to it.
Yeah. And some of them will submit because they don't think that they can do better or that they will ever get married.
I'll go this far. They'll see it as a competition with the other woman. They'll even take the man out of it. And it becomes more so a competition with the other one. And so that becomes the little girl in her. You see, so it's about maturity.
You are lighting it up.
It's about maturity. So
you are lighting it up.
That there's a lot of reasons why some people aren't married. One of them is you may not be over your ex. What if you're not over your ex?
Wow.
What if and there are certain people who they were in a relationship and maybe it was so horrible, but maybe it was so great. You know what I mean? That every time they go into another relationship, their ex becomes a measuring stick, unbeknownst to the new one.
Right.
Their ex becomes a measuring stick for this next person. So if you ain't doing it like her, if you ain't holding it down like him, then you ain't the one. And I think even in that can kind of be a slippery slope.
It really can,
because you have to give each individual the opportunity to stand on their own merit and show you who they are individually.
Right. Scott. Okay, let's see here. I'm sorry. Let me back it up. Pastor Cece said earlier, she says, also it takes time to get to know people. Some people rush others into committed relationships before they even know what they are committing to. She says she knows someone who was asked when they were getting married after the third date. Okay.
Lord.
Alex says here, some folks are single because into the caliber of men around. Oh,
Alex?
so you're trying to say women? That's what you're saying?
No. I think here's what she's saying. You can be so on the ball, and there's a lot of women out there like that.
Right.
That they are so together. And I applaud you, women. I really do. They are so together that the average man don't even think he got a shot with you.
Right.
And what I say to those women? Don't water yourself. And for you, there is a man, because there are certain women, and part of the reason why they're so on the ball is because the Bible says, "Who can find a virtuous woman?" The word virtue, it means strength and or manliness. So who can find a woman who is manly? Now that may seem like an oxymoron, but what that really deals with is who can find a woman, a virtuous woman, a woman who has been influenced by the right man.
Wow.
Who has had the right man in her life, that because of his influence in her life, there's a strength that she would have that she would not have had she not come across that. It can be a father, it can be an uncle, it can be an older brother, it can be a cousin, it could be any strong man that has shown you what it means to be treated like a woman. Who can find that one? And so I think that certain women have so much going for themselves.
Yes.
That the average man, if he ain't on the ball, if he know he a fool, if he know, no, if he, some men, they know they're a scoundrel. And so they ain't gonna, why won't he approach me? Because he know he a scoundrel.
Right.
And you got too much going on for yourself. And then you got too many strong men around you that'll see his kind.
Definitely.
And so
my goodness.
that's a real thing. And your Annette.
You just had a what you had
I
an
just
insight.
had a moment.
I saw the light come on.
Your level at which you carry yourself becomes a covering for you. It will weed out. This is why I say don't lower yourself, because the level in which I'm not talking about being high and mighty and arrogant and conceited. No, but you carry yourself with such class and sophistication, and you are so intelligent, and you are so on the ball, and you are so no nonsense, that it will weed out all the game players.
And you want to weed them out.
You want to weed them out.
Because that's a lot of stuff going on. Let's see. Misha, Melissa, thank you for watching. Deborah says here, establishing a friendship first is the foundation. That I love it. Yeah. That's me all the way. It's got to be start off with a friend before it can go to the next level. Courtship is how you learn about each other and grow to love one another. That means putting in the time and effort that it takes to make your relationship work. I must like you, like being around you and as a person. And that
right
is
there.
On point.
Who said that?
Deborah Shy. Is that Shy? Yes. Yeah, starting out talking. Yes.
What's because I may
liking and loving is two different things.
I may love you, but do I like you?
There and there's a difference there. And people must understand that there's a difference, because they're trying to intersect both of them and try and make one. It's got to be you have to like me if you love me. No, you don't, but you need to. Right. A&D conversation.
Hello, woman of God.
Hello, how are you?
I am good, thank you.
I know that.
I recognize this voice.
Hello, Apostle.
Hi, Evangelist, here with your three criteria
requirements.
They're good and they weed out.
Okay. Come on with it.
But I wanted to say for maybe the younger women, we have these long lists. Because when you're younger, I already said it, we have these long lists. And what happens is when men come along that meet some of the criteria, then we begin to shorten that list for the man.
Oh.
And see, sometimes what happens is, in the natural, he is so on point, but in the spirit, you know, he's maybe his own God, or that's not his thing, but he's so on point in the natural until we deceive ourselves into thinking he's good enough or he's the one. And I think that's a mistake. And then sometimes what we do is that the first thing the young man will do when he takes you out is he's so sweet and wonderful and charming. And so he asks you, what is it that you like in a man? And so we tell him everything. We tell him the whole list, everything we like in a man. And so he becomes that man. Because we have given him the whole list. And now you don't know who he is, and you don't know who it is that you think you have fallen in love with, because he's the perfect man. But no, he's not. He's following the list that you gave him.
Don't women do that too?
Well, I'm talking about women.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
Wait, no.
Don't women do that whole masquerade thing too?
Oh, yeah. We're real good at it.
Okay, just want to know.
Yeah, we're real good at it. Well, I'm a woman,
like,
you know, that's why I was talking about a man. And, but yeah, we are very good at it. And going back to what you all was talking about, the lies, when you start a relationship, because nowadays, you know, it used to be a running joke, because, you know, I'm allowed, you know, in another generation, it used to be a running joke. Man, I took her home, and in the morning, her hair was on the dresser, and her teeth were was on the dresser, and her feet was on the dresser, you know, all of that, because he didn't know who he or what he took home.
Lord.
And now that's the standard. It has become the standard. And so, you know, it's I think it's one of the reasons why we are having such difficulty, and because we don't know who we are, and so we try to become so many other things to so many other men or women so that we can be that one for that man or that woman.
Wow.
I agree. And actually, Dr. Hill, I had pulled up an article that was talking about that as well, because I was trying to relate it psychologically. And she's right on point. You're right on point. Definitely. I totally agree.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for calling.
You are welcome. Thank you for answering.
Okay. Bye-bye.
So people inflate their, how do I want to say this? She made it plain, you know. You don't know they got on a wig. You don't know that,
well, that's
they're not a size
right
6.
But that's just like social media. They put up, you know, pictures, you know, from way back when, and then you go to meet them.
And men do it too. Men, we got our things that we do to make us more
True.
appealing.
True.
You know.
Yeah, y'all do. Okay, let me read this. Scott Blake says, vulnerability. Yes, as men, we tend to not be raised to express ourselves emotionally. Boys don't cry. Emotion is a sign of weakness, and so on. We aren't raised with the same emotional outlets afforded to ladies. Why do you think it's uncommon to see men act out aggressively, especially when hurt by a relationship? Oh my goodness. Yeah. The only real emotion we've been allowed are on the extreme ends of the spectrum, calm or anger. Nothing else really in between.
There are very few men who will even admit heartbreak. Men don't even really. A woman will admit, yeah, he broke my heart. You know.
Why don't men admit it?
Because we feel like it's not manly. You know.
Yeah.
And
you let your guard down. You don't want to show that vulnerability.
You don't want to show that vulnerability. But oh, I'm about to say something.
Say it.
A man's heart is broken when a man really loves a woman. He will allow her to break his heart over and over again.
Let's see.
When he really loves a woman. And watch this, he may never admit to the heartbreak.
Okay.
He may never admit that his heart now maybe he should.
Mm-hmm.
But let it be said, a man who really loves a woman will allow that same woman to break his heart over and over.
Over and over. And that's how you know he in love.
That's how you know he in love.
That's some deep stuff. A lot of broken hearts walking around here.
Yeah. And he can be in a relationship with that very woman.
Deep. Let's see what you going deep. You went way down in the water.
You know.
Yeah.
But maybe him not choosing or choosing to settle down is because he doesn't want to experience that.
Okay.
He doesn't want to experience that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of reasons, you know.
Interesting.
The list goes on.
It does.
I think sometimes we don't even know what, you know, there's being in love, there's loving someone, and then there's being in love.
Right.
Then there's being infatuated. You know, there's infatuation.
There is a difference.
There's a lot of differences, and I think you can be hung up on, you know, Evangelist Hill was just saying, you can be hung up on the exterior or something shallow. You can be hung up on how somebody looks and think that you're in love with them when you're really not. Just because you get these butterflies.
Could be gas. Did I say that out loud?
You know what? Let me say something about that. Because I was thinking, even our tolerance level changes. So that was.
I'm just Annette, y'all. That's all I am.
There's certain things that can imagine meeting a man, and within the first 5 minutes, he passes gas in your presence.
Excuse me.
You gonna knock him off the list almost immediately.
Okay.
Would you?
The young me would have.
Okay. The
Probably.
young me, let's deal with the young you.
Okay.
What about what age? 20, 25?
Yeah.
About 25. The young you would have said that this dude. He's somewhere Putin in front of me. Now watch this. But that same person 5 years into a relationship can pass gas in front of you, and it sounds like a symphony orchestra. You laugh about it, and you know it's a point of laughter.
Right.
You know, I think, and I'm saying that to say that sometimes we can be so rigid in the beginning that we don't know that we may be weeding out a potential soulmate.
Ooh.
We can be weeding out a companion for life because they did one thing wrong or one thing that you rushed to judgment and said, you know. Right.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. That's good stuff. Loosen up so you won't miss. Okay. Erica, thank you for watching. Misha, I think I said your name. I'm so sorry. Pastor Rick is on. How are you? Pastor Rick, I want to hear from you. Can you call in 708-223-8953? 708-223-8953. And I know you're going to get me for calling your name out, but if you would not mind. Scott also says here, exes, I am not in the business of competing with your past, nor am I trying to live in it. If you're still pining or living in that old relationship, this is good stuff, then you need not pursue another one until it's out of your system. He says, I personally am interested in my lady's past relationships because it gives me insight into how she thinks and or operates, which paints a more focused picture of who she is. But other than for educational purposes, I'm only interested in my relationship with you right now.
Right.
Okay.
So when should you ask about the exes?
First date. Just kidding. Well, I don't know.
Somewhere in the beginning.
What do you guys think?
And I don't think that someone should give you shouldn't want all the details.
Nah.
Because that might turn you off.
And see, I'm such a private person anyway. If you come ask me on the first date about my ex, excuse you, I'm going.
That can be off-putting.
Yeah. Yeah, it could put it, but it needs to be early on for sure. I do agree with that. Darcy, thanks for watching. Brandy says here, a woman who's been raised and nurtured by a certain caliber of man is always going to be hard to manipulate and mistreat.
Yes.
She knows what she deserves, and if you're not there, then the best a guy can hope for is sliding into friend zone purgatory.
Oh, guys hate that friend zone.
Oh my God. Women, we don't like that either. Always, I get another friend. You go out on a date or whatever, and I think we should just be friends.
I don't know how many times I've had somebody come to me and say, I like this girl, but I think she only want me to be her friend.
Her friend. And the heart just all hurt.
Man, and my heart aches for them because I'm like, okay, what do I say to that? I can't tell, man, but keep trying. She really.
Well, the thing of it is that maybe she's just not at the point that he needs her to be at, or vice versa.
Right. I normally tell them, just continue to be her friend. And if something happens, it does. If it doesn't, then at least you have a friend.
At least you're like, oh man, I want to hear that. Especially not from Apostle. Tell me something else. Prophesy to me, Apostle.
Exactly. They want me to say, oh, I see in the spirit.
I see in the spirit. She's gonna come around in about 60 days.
I'm not doing it. I don't prophesy folk together.
See, that's good. Let's see here. What if the man or woman has all the qualities that you desire and everything seems to fit, but her or his kids are absolutely despicable?
Oh my God.
Is it shallow to pass on that relationship?
Well, you have to understand that when you marry someone, if they have kids, you're marrying the kids.
Yeah, you really are.
You're taking on, if they have small children, you're taking on them and the responsibility of them, because they are a part of that woman or that man. And if the moment you start separating the two, it's really going to cause a problem in the relationship and drive a wedge between you and your spouse. It's a package deal.
It is.
It's a package deal. So,
and that's what you have to keep in mind.
you have to consider that. And if you have a problem with their children, if they find out, they ain't gonna like it. It can be a serious problem. Yeah,
because it's just going to continue. I mean, that situation is going to get worse and worse. And what if you guys do get together? So let's see. Okay, I see you guys. There are more comments on here, but we're gonna wrap it up now. I see that Heather Cook joined. Thank you for watching. And we just want to thank all you guys for chiming in here on the Facebook Live feed tonight. Those that called in, and again, we apologize for those that tried to call in earlier and weren't able to get through. But this was a great topic.
Absolutely.
Great topic.
Absolutely. And I think, moving forward, we got some holiday coming up. We got Valentine's Day.
Yes.
And maybe we can kind of do a follow-up on this.
Maybe we can do a follow-up. That sounds good. All right, guys, thanks again for your participation on tonight, for your input, and some of your comments schooled us.
Absolutely.
And I think it was vice versa. So love you too, Misha. That was sweet. Appreciate that. All right, Misha. Yeah, she said love y'all. We love y'all too. Love all y'all. All right, great. Next Thursday, we will return. Again, remember, we're only on Thursdays now. We started that this week. So Thursday, make sure you join us next week. And that will be the 24th.
Yes.
The 24th. So we'll have our promos up and we will put our topic title within that so you guys can follow us. All right. You have been listening to Mind, Body, and Soul, an A&D conversation. Oh, there's still comment here. Keep it going. Okay. All right, we're still here, guys. We try to do.
If you need wisdom for the mind and deep down in your soul, tune in for the ride. It's mind, body, and soul. An Andy conversation.